Okay. Making sure this is set up right. I'm trying to pay attention to two different screens. Okay. Making sure it's set up. This is my lunch chat. I don't have an appetite, so I figured I would come on and have a discussion. And I'm trying, because somehow I deleted Facebook off of my other phone, so I'm using my desktop and my phone. I'm talking to TikTok and I'm talking to Facebook for my lunch chat on the topic, are we choosing the wrong ones? And I'm making sure that that I can see the comments over here on Facebook. So here goes. I have a list. The other day, and I was sick the other day, so I couldn't come on and really talk about this because I wanted to make sure I was in a clear mindset, energized, bubbly feeling and all of that. But yeah, I've been wanting to talk about this for a minute. So I have a list. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 items on this list that helps me to, like, I went back in my previous relationships to see how did I later recognize that person was the wrong one. So I have 7 items on this list. If you are a believer, a Christian man, a Christian woman, from my experiences, this is what I say you should be looking for when you're trying to choose a Christian mate. Things to kind of ask yourself. So let's jump in. 1 second. Hold on. Got it. Hold on. I think this coffee and the probiotics I've been taking, it's just in shot my whole appetite. So it's like I'm not eating like I'm supposed to. So that's why we're on live during the lunch break. Okay. And if at any time during this live you have something you want to say, please leave a comment, whether you're on TikTok or on Facebook. Here's number 1. Are they changing you for the better? The reason why this one is important is because a lot of the ones that I have chosen in the past to even entertain, they did not make my life better. If anything, they made the depression worse. They made my self-esteem go a little lower. So that's number 1. If you're taking notes, here's number 1 again. Are they changing you for the better? I feel like this can go with men and this can go with women. The person that you are with, are they making you a better man or woman of God? Okay. Here's the second question. Are you losing yourself or possibly changing into someone different to keep him or her? Thank you for the hearts. So here's my commentary on this one. Whoo, goodness. Here's my commentary. The ones that I have chose in the past, I changed. I changed for them. Most times the change was something dealing with morals. Like, of course, the whole, sex outside of marriage, like I always would change, right? Y'all know the story. Someone says losing yourself in someone is the worst. Gotta stay true to yourself. And that is so, so, so true. That's a whole sermon right there. That's a whole sermon. I talked about that in some videos years ago where my first husband, I made him my God. I lost myself in him. And not a lot, like it's a handful mixed in there. I go back and answer these questions and I can't really say that, that person was a good fit for me, but whatever, moving on. But thank you for that comment. Yeah, are you losing yourself or possibly changing into someone different? So if you are with someone and you feel as though they're a godsend or you want to be with this person, you have fallen in love with this person, but they're changing you. If you feel like you have to change. So for example, I've always been quirky. I've always been different. I like different types of music. Like I'm not your average. I was never the average girl that I thought at the time that I was supposed to be. So I would always change it up. I felt like I couldn't be my nerdy, goofy self for that particular guy, right? So that's question. Well, that's question 2. And then another thing, the losing yourself, where it's like you're so invested in this man or this woman where you stop doing the things that you love to do, or you start feeling like you're just not yourself anymore. Like that's a spiritual change with a person that you might be connected to. Number 3, is he or she presenting you without spot or blemish? Can you be in your righteous self around him or her in full confidence that he or she won't cause you to waver, stumble, or feel guilty about something later? Now, again, that kind of ties into the last one that I mentioned, where it's like falling into fornication or falling into whatever type of sin that person, that you're with. If you are a man or woman of God and you're with someone that's causing you to stumble, that's causing you to fall into sin, that is not the person for you. That is not someone that God is saying, here you go, right? Because of course we're supposed to be with somebody that's making us better, that's making us want to crave God even more, right? So yeah, and the spot or blemish thing. So of course, with me practicing abstinence, as I'm setting myself forth to, I'm not going to say to choose, because the man chooses, but for me to open myself up to the possibility of being in another relationship, I need to evaluate or discern if that man is approaching me with that heart or mindset to present me without spot or blemish. If a man if a man is starting off a relationship or a conversation and it's something sexual, or it's something about my physical body that's not appropriate, I instantly put a wall up and I'm like, no, because if you're starting here, just imagine as we are trying to fight to temptation together, how your behavior is going to be with me. So that was, that's number 3. Number 4, can you be your full self around him or her without feeling bullied or judged that he or she will laugh at you or put you down? That's a personal one for me. That's a personal one for me. I posted a video the other day when I was talking about the imposter syndrome. And I said how my first love in high school used to bully me. And of course, I'm like, whatever, we're young, he loves me, I love him. And I accepted the bullying until I started to see what real love or what safe love felt like. And then it clicked in my mind, okay, how he's treating me. Okay, I'm not sure what you're meaning by that comment, but okay. But yeah, I used to let it go on. And then, like I said, when I got an example of how a young man was supposed to treat me, it's like, oh, I see that how I was being treated was not right. That was wrong. And anybody, especially, again, this is Christians, believers, Bible believing people that are dating. Like, of course, we feel like if they are in church, they're in the word, they're not going to treat us poorly. They're not going to put their hands on us. They're not going to call us names. They're not going to make us feel bad for any personality quirk or whatever that we have about us. So yeah, that question, can you be your full self around him without feeling judged or bullied? And then another example that I have, this is not even from high school. This is me as an adult woman. I was dating a guy and it wasn't him. It was me. It was me. I felt like I could not be myself around him. I felt in my mind that he was like, oh my gosh, like he was so fine and all that low self-esteem stuff started coming in, and I'm like, oh, he wants to talk to me and he wants to be with me and da-da-da. So I started feeling like I couldn't be my goofy self. I could not be Trisha. Like, that's the best way I could put it, because I looked at him like, look, okay, let me be real. I looked at him like he was out of my league. I'm embarrassed to say that now, because of course he was not out of my league. But at that time where I was, in terms of, my whole face just got hot, because I'm embarrassed to say that. But I felt like he was out of my league, and it was like, man, this is going deeper than I thought. But because I was in that place, because I felt like he was out of my league, I couldn't be myself, because the Trisha that I wasn't good enough for him, right? But whatever. So, but yeah, that wasn't him though. That was me. That was a flaw within myself. So I can't blame him for that. That particular guy, I cannot blame him for that. But in moving forward, as my tip for that, for what number, I don't know what number we're on, number 4, number 3 or 4, when you are selecting someone to be with, make sure you feel like your full self with them. That's how I always know who I'm about to get attached to, when I can be my goofy, raw self with that person. Moving on, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was number 4. So 5. Here's number 5. Here's a deep one. Here's a really, really deep one. Would you let him or her babysit younger you? Would you let him or her babysit younger you? Now, this one is very important, because in this day and age, where there are a lot of people getting away with harming younger people, or getting away with harming people that's their same age, whatever, any man or woman that gives you the heebie-jeebies, that's the best way I can put it, that makes you feel uncomfortable in your spirit, that makes you feel like you would never want to leave a child alone with them, probably should not be the best selection for you. And that may not even be a sense of like a perversion, but it could be simply, okay, do they have anger issues? Do they kind of make you feel like you have to flinch when they yell, or are they yelling? Like, you know what I'm saying? Not yelling because they were excited, but like, is there anger in a place where you're just like, man, I would not want to leave younger me with them, you know? So that's that one. Number 6, what conversation, if any, would he or she have with God about you? I really like this one. I'm like tooting my own horn. What conversation, if any, would he or she have with God about you? If I am dating someone and I feel like they won't even go into their prayer closet, not like a physical prayer closet, if I feel like he will not go to a place with God and speak to God about me, I'm probably not going to want to be with him. But of course, we may not know that they're praying for us, but I want a man that I just feel that he would be speaking to God about me. If you are with someone, a man or a woman, and they're not even talking to God just about anything, that's probably a red flag. I probably would say you might need to pray and evaluate. God, show me what I need to see about that person. But yeah, that question, what conversation, if any, would he or she have with God about you? It's a beautiful thing in knowing that someone is praying for you or praying about you. What was it yesterday? Not yesterday. I don't know. I have so many different Bible studies. I have 2 Bible studies per week. I have classes, so I don't remember what context it was. But we were talking about, I think Paul was praying for his people. He was praying that his people received knowledge. To know that Paul, as a leader, was praying for his people, that's a beautiful thing. I want a man to pray about me. Like, hey, my boo having some stresses this week. God, just be with her. Give her a free coffee somehow in the name of Jesus today. Like that would just make my day like brighter. But whatever. And lastly, number 7. Does he or she initiate prayer? Thank you for agreeing. Thank you. Does he or she initiate prayer or anything spiritual with you or between you and God? Prayer is going to church. Prayer, going to church, devotionals, Bible studies, talks of ministering to others. So this question, as the final question to ask yourself when you're discerning on who to choose, whether you're a man or woman of God, does he or she initiate spiritual things with you? Now, some people might debate me on this and say, depending on how far along you are in a relationship, it may not be necessary, or that person may not feel comfortable. And I have examples for all of these, because this is how I came up with this list because of my bad interactions. There was a guy, a Christian guy. During my process of discernment, if you want to leave comments, I'm definitely open to hearing your comments if you want to leave feedback. And also, if you are interested in a future broadcast together, I'm open to that as well. But please, I want to hear y'all's feedback. And after I'm done with number 7, I'll go back through the list so that if you want to comment on one of them, you have the opportunity. Hey, Sam. You have the opportunity to do that. But yeah, so there was this guy, a Christian guy, that never wanted to pray with me. And it was weird. I would bring it up and it would just not, it didn't sit right with me. And it was during that, like I said, that discernment stage. And it wasn't until after he gave me this bogus, because I think I asked him even after we realized, okay, it's not going anywhere or whatever. And he told me the reason why he wouldn't pray with me is because now this can go in either way, because at first I'm like, what? But then I'm like, no, he makes a good point. He did not want to pray with anybody until he could see where they were spiritually. Totally understandable. But the thing is, we were having Bible discussions. We were studying together. But it's he never would initiate prayer. He never would say, hey, do you want to pray? It was weird to me. So in moving forward, I say that in moving forward, for my number 7, I want to make sure that the next one, I can see that. And best believe you can tell when someone's faking it. I feel like all of this stuff put together and you're praying, God, show me, because that's my prayer in dating. Show me what I need to see about a person. Hi. And I'm going to get to your comments in a second. I just don't want to lose this thought so I can complete point number 7. But yeah, that's super important for me. So I'm going to check these comments and then I'll go back through 1 through 7 to see if anybody, before I log off of here, if you would like to give feedback or, share something about what you look for when you're choosing the right person, the right man or woman of God. So, okay. Are you spiritual in relevance to biblical doctrine or New Age Buddhist garbage? Was this, I'm trying to understand. Okay. I'm not a fan of the term spiritual. And the reason I say that is because a lot of times when people say I'm spiritual, that means they are kind of practicing some new age behaviors. I would say I'm in relationship with God. I identify as a Christ follower. Okay. Thank you for the gift. Thank you so much. And it was another question. Was this prayerlessness in a marriage or just relationship? It was in a relationship. We were in the early stages of trying to decide if we were going to date or not. But see, and thank you for those questions, everybody. So even though we were in the early stages, I feel like that's when you are to see most of the spirit of a person. And tell me if you disagree, or if you have another way that you would look at this. But I feel like in the beginning, if you're hiding your prayer life, if you're hiding your practices, and I'm not saying, hey, show me what you're praying to God about. But if I don't see any kind of spiritual practice, if you don't want to pray with me, and I'm not asking for them to pray for me, because not everybody is comfortable to pray for people like out in the open. They have more of a private prayer life, and that's fine. But some form of fashion, I need to know what's going on in the prayer mind up there, in moving forward, because as Christ followers, we are supposed to be marriage minded. We're not supposed to be out here dating. Like that's the trouble I got into in my past. I didn't have marriage mindset. I was just seeing where things were going, and that gets you into trouble when you are, in my opinion, a Christ follower. You said, I don't trust most professing Christians. I am not going to argue with you there on that. But that's exactly why I have this list that I wanted to share today, because in the realm of dating, in the whole idea of dating, people can profess, and I as a witness, men will profess to be Christian, but then quickly on or early on, they're talking about inappropriate things, or they're talking about things that are not of God. And I'm like, but you said you were Christian. You said that you were a believer. So it's like you have to discern on that road of dating, in my opinion. Let's see. Making sure the man isn't just doing, lip service. Walking through seasons with a person will show. Thank you. And if you're still, I think you're still viewing, Lena, how long do you think it takes for you to see a true character of a person? Because I've seen a lot of unfortunate relationships where somebody can go a long while pretending. Like I saw a post the other day where they were talking about how they were dating a guy, they were both abstinent, and then he asked this question like, well, hey, can we do some other stuff? And I'm like, where did that come from? And I think it kind of took the woman off guard. Like, where did that come from? So in your opinion, how long before you can really truly see a person's true colors? Someone else, let's see. I was married twice, and in both marriages, we never prayed. Aw. And how did that make you feel? The Berian? I'm sorry if I said that wrong. How did that make you feel? And it's like God fired both women, literally fired her. Aw. Both wives. I think at least, 6 months, Lena. Yes. And that's another, I'm glad you said 6 months, because that's another question where people are asking, how long before you know they're the one? How long, for men, how long do you know? How long does it take before you truly know, okay, I'm going to pop the question, I want to be with her? I think 6 months is a good amount of time to be able to say, okay, I'm really gauging who they really are, who they're saying they are. And then within that 6 months, I would hope by that time God would have revealed, okay, here you go, and here's what I need to take away. So yes, I like that answer. 6 months is awesome. The Berean, sorry if I'm saying, yes, you can ask questions. I'm open to questions. I was just replying to her comment as well. Let's see. Yes, I would like an honest experience answer to the question. So you were saying I asked a question in your previous marriages where you did not pray, how did that make you feel? Because of course, in this context, I'm speaking about Christian relationships. Not saying if you're not Christian, you're not, you can't be a part of the conversation. We're all acting in God's love here. But I'm just, I guess in pastoral care, like we want to see how people feel, Amen. In your experience, God showed you who you were to marry. And that is beautiful. That is beautiful. And I think, I know, and I too, I've been married twice as well. And I'm trying to remember I think we prayed, but even despite praying together, there was so much more on the negative side of things that I should have taken a look at that I ignored. So, and I agree. You should not date just any woman. That is so true. And me and a friend of mine were talking this morning about what a wife should be like, what a husband should be like. And I mentioned, I think it was Ephesians 5, where it was going through it, like the section head, it even says, be imitators of God. And it's like going through a list of things like, staying away from immorality. Let's see. Where was it? I think it's in my other Bible. But yeah, Ephesians 5, and there was another one where it's like listing out what we should be as Christ followers. And I feel like whether we're man or woman in Christ, both genders can look at that context to see what we're supposed to be bringing to the table spiritually to make a marriage a God-fearing or God-filled marriage. Let's see. There was jealousy of what God was doing. I'm so sorry to hear that. A wife should be like, or as a godly woman should be, right? Like Proverbs. So for women, of course, we have Proverbs 31. And I was doing a study a few months ago. And I think I have a video here on TikTok about that. It was Ephesians 5, and I can't remember the other one. I think it was in Corinthians, about what Christian marriages should be like. Yeah, I think it was in my other Bible. That's why I can't find it. But yes, first appointed to be with whomever God chooses and called to be your husband, right? I agree. Now, here's the other thing. It was a question that me and my best friend, we kind of came up with. We were discussing, is there such thing as a soulmate? Because by you mentioning being like appointed, in my opinion, I feel as though there are a number of people in the world that you can match with and have a beautiful God-fearing marriage. I don't feel like there's just one person in the whole entire world that you're supposed to match with and that's it for you. That's just my opinion. Let's see. But in my case, he had to show me what women to look for. I'm kind of hard-headed. Aren't we all, though? Aren't we all? There's nothing wrong with that. I am appreciative of the fact that you are sharing with us, that you feel comfortable sharing, and you're being transparent. We have all had moments where we have become hard-headed, especially with matters of the heart and of the flesh. Like, cause sometimes, like for me and my testimony, for those of you who have been following, like, you know, a lot of my issues came from flesh, like trying to fill a void. So it's like we become hard-headed where God will show us quick, fast, in a hurry. Nope, he not it. But I'm like, well, he's cute. Well, he's giving me attention. Well, he distracts from the depression and all of that. So, I'm so sorry to hear that. Hard-headed does cost money. It does. And I'm going to go back through because my lunch is coming to a close. So, let's see. I'm going to go back through my list for those who came on a little later, or if you want to write these down. I know on Facebook I can probably post, but I can't repost this on TikTok, but I can definitely repost it on YouTube and have the questions in the description box. But here are the questions that I came up with for the topic. Are you choosing the wrong one? Yes. Thank you. We have to be fruit inspectors too. I like that. That's like a t-shirt, fruit inspector. Yes. The fruit, you know them by the fruit that they bear. They're not bearing any fruit and they got all kinds of, I don't know, that might be going into a whole nother topic, but if they have all kinds of craziness going on around them and you don't see that, but see, no, I take that back. Lord, forgive me. Job. I always think of Job. He had done nothing wrong and a lot of craziness was going on in his life. So I can't say, but yeah, I still want to see some fruit. I need to see some fruit of your labor as a Christ follower. Let's see. Okay, so here's my 7, and then I'm gonna log off here. And thank you for everybody who joined in on my lunch chat. Number 1, are they changing you for the better? Number 2, are you losing yourself or possibly changing into someone different to keep him or her? 3, is he presenting you, or is he or she presenting you without spot or blemish? Can you be your righteous self around him or her in full confidence that he or she won't cause you to waver, stumble, or feel guilty about something later? Number 5, can you be your full self around him or her without feeling bullied or judged that he or she will laugh at you or put you down? 6, would you let him or her babysit younger you, or any child for that matter? 6, what conversation, if any, would he or she have with God about you? And number 7, does he or she initiate prayer or anything spiritual with you or between you and God? Being prayer, going to church, devotionals, Bible studies, or talks of ministering to other people. And that is my list. I really like lists. I like journaling. So I'm going to come up with some more of those. And if anyone watches the replay, please join the discussion. What do you look for when you are choosing a man or woman of God? What do you look for? What are your red flags? So, okay, let's see. Before I end, I have some more. And you're so welcome. Thank you all. Let's see. Right, an apple tree needs to have apples on it. I like that. I don't call the exes my exes. God has put away. Okay. Thank you for that. Job's wife told him to, yes, she did. Job's wife told him to curse God and die. And you know what? I'm about to mess it up again. The Berean. I'm going to call you 242. 242. So that's another conversation. When you do get married and you realize it's wrong and it's not of God, like, how do we fix that? What is the proper way? And maybe that could be another live that we could talk about, because again, like in my book, I talk about my 2 failed marriages by the age of 30. I'm not proud of that, but it's a testimony, because it was like, I wasn't even 30 yet and I had been divorced twice because I chose wrong, or I said yes twice to 2 of the wrong people. So yeah, but thank you everybody for the comments, for the hearts, the likes, and the gifts. So yeah, be on the lookout, because I'm just, it's a lot that I've been seeing lately that I've really been wanting to talk about, and I pray that this has blessed you all. I pray that the comments that were shared blessed everybody. And y'all have a good rest of your day. Amen. The Holy Spirit is thorough. Yes. All right, I'm going to end Facebook first in case there's a comment coming through that I don't want to miss the comments on the TikTok side. So goodbye, Facebook. I will see y'all later. Okay. All right. So thank you so much. And I'm glad you think so. I'm glad y'all could come on with me. And if you have requests, I have a Q&A section on my page. If you have a request of something you would like for me to discuss from my testimony or anything we talked about today, please let me know. And anyone interested in Eve Moment Ministry, let me know. Go check that out on my page. Yes. And I not saying I love hearing that other people have been divorced twice, but it does make you kind of feel like you're not alone. Like you can share in that, I guess, discomfort. So yeah, I definitely have stories for days about that. So, but okay, let me get off of here. It's 1:52. I need to get back to work. But thank you all again, and I will see you next time.